All right, welcome. This is the start of Target 1B. Your goal for today is I could rewrite expressions with rational exponents. We'll kind of get to this in a second. I briefly want to remind you of something. That's this idea of opposites in math. So something very, very cool is that everything that you do in math can be undone. Everything has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So the first one that you learn is addition and subtraction. When you're children, you learn you can add numbers just as easily then you can subtract them by kind of undoing the addition that you did. If you add 3 and 4, you get 7. And then if you want to undo that 7 and get back to the 3, instead of adding 4, you subtract 4 then. So 7 minus 4 will give you 3. When you're a little bit older, they teach you about multiplication and division, right? You can multiply numbers, which is essentially super addition, and then you can divide to undo that, which is just super subtraction. So we have just recently kind of went over exponents, and exponents fit in this pattern, right, of it has to have an opposite. And what exponents have as an opposite are called roots, which we'll get into in a quick moment here. So let's look at an example and figure out how we can undo this, right? We have 4 to the power 2. So 4 is the base, 2 is the power. If I want to undo this and just get the 4 back, what I'm actually going to use is a root. Like I said right up here, we're going to go ahead and use this root. And the roots are the symbols that look like this. They kind of look like this big check mark with this line, this horizontal line up here. So if I take the root, specifically the second root of 4 to the power 2, this root will undo this exponent right here, this power, and that'll leave us with 4. Again, that's the undoing of the exponent that we had. So one of the things that we saw in the previous unit, the previous target, was 4 to the power 1/3, right? We saw these fractions as exponents, and these follow a rule, right? Base to the power over root. And we could rewrite them as radicals by following this form, right? So let's go ahead and rewrite this right here. We need to figure out what's the base, what's the power, what's the root, and put them in each of the appropriate places. So the first thing I'm going to look is in this kind of spot right here, I'm going to put the root. So the root is the exponent, but it's the denominator of the exponent. So the root here is 3. Let's use green. This is bottom number right here. So that's going to go right in there. So in this little wedge, I'm going to put 3. Okay, the next thing that I want to find is the base. And the base is the bigger piece. It's kind of like the most important one. That's right there. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right underneath this square root. The last thing that we have is the power. Power is the numerator of the fraction. And we're going to raise the base to that power. And that power here for this example is 1. So that's how we would rewrite a rational exponent using radicals and roots.